When researching for my film and camera shots as inspiration, I found finding inspiration for certain shots I wanted to use difficult, as I found it hard to pinpoint certain shots that inspired me specifically. Instead of taking inspiration from already existing thrillers, I just took my inspiration from general films overall and of any genre based on the main extent of my film around basic shots and angles. Using simple angles and shots in the production process made filming much easier for me, as I was able to pass through production a lot quicker than I would have had I spent my time trying to set up complex shots I was unfamiliar with setup wise and connotation meaning wise. However, the downside to keeping my shots sticking to what I know and simple means obviously it has the potential to be a lot better and much more complex and professional. I didn't personally take inspiration from any certain film in general, so my research to inspiration for this part was quite short. However, the shots I knew I wanted to use, I did research into and extended my knowledge on these shots so I could make these shots, although although make these shots, although basic, the best they could possibly be by understanding the full meaning of the shot, why I've used it, and what it could connotate. I knew straight away I wanted to use over the shoulder shots in my film for a start. These shots are good for involving the audience and creating a sense of participation. By filming the character from over the shoulder, it's almost like the audience is looking over the shoulder, seeing the same things the character is looking at, which is useful to show the audience key parts of the story and again involves the audience more in the scene. Mid shots were something I wanted to use a lot in my film also. This shot was more for time filling rather than connotation. I feel mid shots are a good way to show the character and enough of the background for a generic shot for basic scenes. I don't feel long shots or close ups are needed, as these are the shots that tend to focus on other aspects rather than generally just showing the scene and what's happening in it. I feel like any other kind of shot, like close up or long shots showing the characters when they're not doing anything key in the storyline, is just overcomplicating it. Close ups I also know I wanted, as just in general these are a good simple way of highlighting something key in the storyline. For example, I know for my film when the two characters are reading together, I want a close up of the book as it focuses on what the characters are doing in the scene and allows the audience to see that the characters are getting along well and helping one another, help when which should then help the storyline develop when they realise these two characters may be in danger as the younger character fights off her own imagination in the storyline. Tracking shots is again another thing I wanted for my film opening. Some of the most iconic films, such as Back to the Future, start their films showcasing the location and setting using slow tracking shots, guiding the audience around the house. Because this kind of idea is used so frequently in film openings, I want to include something similar in mine, as I feel these shots really help to create atmosphere accompanied with the right music and gives the audience an insight into the characters' lives and their family, jobs, education, hobbies, and personalities before the characters are even on the screen talking. Other shots I feel I just want to happen during the filming process, as I know what's happening step for step in my film. I feel as if I can take a scene I know what I'm I feel as if I can take a scene, I know what I'm doing, like the younger character eating dinner, and work around the location I'm using and see where the camera looks best for that scene, as I may plan to use a long shot, but when filming it could look completely different to what I might build up in my head and want to look like, as the lighting may be wrong or the camera may not pick up everything I want it to. Meaning I may not be happy with the outcome if I have every shot laid out in my head and it does not meet expectations of what I imagined. For me personally, I feel noting down the shots I definitely want to use is important, but I want to film my film also with some shots potentially unplanned to see what I think will look best on the days of filming. If this doesn't go to plan, then I have prepared and given myself more than enough time to go home and plan each shot out individually and research them more before going back and reshooting any shots I may not be happy with the first time I filmed them.